What's up guys, Intellitech Studios here, and today we'll be doing a video on a machine that I haven't featured in literal years. This was requested by Rick Hoover. This is the Kenmore PowerPath system, which I did an acquisition video on it a long time ago, featured it in a vacuum saved, and hadn't touched it since then. It went upstairs in the vacuum room because I planned on keeping it, and may or may not still, I don't know yet. I literally haven't used it. And as you could tell from the previous, 4 seconds ago, haven't used it since. And I believe it needs a belt from what I remember, but other than that, I believe it runs okay. The only thing I've done in the time that I brought it downstairs, 20 minutes ago, and started recording is I did wipe it down with a disinfecting wipe. Just a disinfecting wipe. And I'm not going to lie, it looks great, considering how old it is. Now, I was hesitant to use it for a while because the handle was super sticky and it was actually experiencing what I thought was rubber aversion, but apparently the rubber aversion that it had either was non-existent and it was just dirty, or it was very minimal, because this ribbed part is a little bit sticky, but most of this is perfectly passable. And I didn't even need to use any isopropyl. I just used some disinfecting wipes, just the knockoff Clorox wipes, and that made it clean enough that, well, it made the handle not sticky, and it also made the latching mechanism, well, maybe, and it made the latching mechanism actually start working. Maybe. Yeah, really don't like that, how much like on the older Dysons, the little ridge right there, if it's not perfectly clean, the friction will actually make it not want to recline. And of course, if you force it, which most normal consumers will just force it, you break the damn thing. So yeah, that's a little annoying, but either way, it appears to be in somewhat okay condition. But yeah, so I sold my Panasonic Performance Plus, the basic black model, finally, and then it broke during shipping, so I had to give them a refund. And I didn't want to bother making them send it back just to possibly JB Weld and have it not turn out, so they got a free vacuum. Which, yeah, my fault for not packing it properly. But, yeah, I probably should have gone through insurance, but I was too lazy, and frankly, I forgot about it till just now, so it's definitely too late. Anyways, so this thing is kind of similar to that Panasonic, which makes sense, because a lot of these older Kenmores were in fact made by Panasonic, and they've got the Panasonic fittings and take the same belts and everything. But yeah, you can see the info there. Model 116, class UG4A. One of those is the correct number to identify this machine. And yeah, it appears to have all the attachments from what I understand. It's got the crevice tool, it's got the extension wand, it's got the second extension wand, and it's got this combination dusting brush upholstery tool. So it appears to be complete. So, not bad. For sure. Definitely that hose is a bit dirty, but what are you going to do? Again, I literally just wiped down the front of the machine. So we'll lay this down real quick and take a look at this brush roll, because I believe the belt needs replaced. Honestly, this looks really good. From what I remember, this was $10 on Facebook Marketplace. I believe that's correct, but feel free to go back and look at the original video to fact check. I always forget to do that before I record the video. Yeah, this belt is definitely shot, so replacing that would definitely make the most sense. If I can figure out how to get this base plate off, I'm sure there's a way to do that. Oh, it's got this little metal piece right here. So it looks like that's what makes it recline. So I might throw a belt on this real quick. But I guess before we do that, let me make sure the darn thing still runs. I believe it has a bag in here. Yes, it does. A little bit of dust in there, but honestly, not that bad. That filter does have some debris on it, actually, it looks like. Does have a little bit of debris on that filter. So probably could do to clean that. But I think if I run it, it shouldn't hurt it. The bag appears to be quite loose. I feel like that just fell right off. Yeah, this bag is like super loose on here. I'm wondering if this is the wrong type of bag. I feel like it's gotta be. So I'm not sure. But just for a little quick run, it should be okay, I'd like to think. So, yeah. If I can put the bag door back on correctly. Maybe. Trying to do this with one hand is quite the pain. Okay. Alright, so this thing is now plugged in, and we're going to see if it still runs. Well, it does run, needs a headlight. Let's see what happens if I start it on the carpet. Well, it's on the medium setting, and at first I was like, oh yeah, the brush spin's fine, and then I realized it wasn't making contact with the carpet at all. This appears to be one of those machines where the height adjustment is way too liberal and raises the head much higher than it needs to go. So I guess we'll throw it on extra low, which I guarantee is going to make this brush roll stop. I don't remember off the top of my head what belts these use. I assume a Panasonic will fit, but I'll see if I've got a belt that fits it. There was 2 belts that I had sitting on the top of the handle, so I'm not sure if those were relevant or not, if I threw those on the handle a couple years ago and just don't remember. So I'm going to try changing the belt real quick. Just like a Panasonic, we got the really nice toolless cover. And that belt, wow, look at that belt. Have you ever seen a belt that chewed up before? And yes, I did unplug it. Have you ever seen a belt that chewed up? Look at that belt. Oh, the brush roll came apart. Look how chewed that is. God, it looks like a mountain. Look at all those rock formations like crystals. Isn't that crazy? That is the gnarliest belt I've ever seen. Roll credits. Look at that. Huh. Which is funny because the back side of it is smooth. And the inside of this is actually relatively clean, all things considered. And the headlight's burnt out, so I'm not quite sure how to get to that. I presume I take these screws out and this mechanism pops out, and then maybe from there I can get to the headlight. Wait, or does this just slide out? Oh, does this just slide out? It does. Got one of these big, beefy headlight bulbs. Isn't that nice? That's like the old school Bissell ones, but it looks like it's even bigger. I'll have to look up the specs of this and see what a direct replacement would be, because I would like to replace that. But for now... Oh. Of course, this is making my hands all dirty. But of course, we'll put this back in, and the brush roll just immediately came apart. There's some gunk and some material right there. So I might as well clean that off while we're here. This didn't intend to be a maintenance guide. Oh, look at that. A little... Oh, the edge of the bearing just popped off. Or, wait. Was that just a washer? It's just a washer. these like nice bulky metal end caps. And then there's the bearing in that side. Isn't that nice? So I guess this brush roll's in great shape, so we'll just clean this up a little bit and we'll reinstall this. Alright, so I put the new belt on this end cap and I tried swapping them because this was on this side. This end cap's a little bit warped, so a little bit of play in there. So I don't know if I'm going to try to shim that with something maybe, or just let it ride, because I feel like that could hurt the housing, but at least it's not on the belt side anymore. So we've got the new belt on. Should be a good belt, hopefully, although it is shedding already, which is not a good sign of a healthy belt. It's already shedding, but we'll see if it can work with this. I'll put the base plate on and try it again. There's a little gap up here too where this is warped, and so that doesn't want to actually connect properly, which is unfortunate. Hopefully it shouldn't leak too much air out of that, but that is the intake, so could be a problem, but hopefully it won't be. Alright, so it's plugged in now. So now we'll give it a run and we'll see if that belt breaks. Much better. Well, there we go. The Kenmore PowerPath is fixed. I'll do another video after I clean up the base plate a little bit more, clean up that filter, and pop in a HEPA bag and a headlight. And once I do, this thing will be not perfect per se, because again, the brush roll has a little bit of a rattle. The base is a little bit warped, as these unfortunately oh so tend to do. I don't know why people obsess over these things. The plastic on this is ridiculously cheap. And even the Panasonic ones and the Recar ones seem to just have this weird, like, obsession with, like, plastic that, like, is prone to warping over time. And it's literally built, and I'm not kidding. I know I irritate people when I say this, but this is literally built in terms of the base assembly. I mean, it's built worse than Abyssal, at least in terms of the actual housing. The wheels and everything are definitely much better because they're actually metal and everything, and they're not cheap plastic that breaks. There's no pedal release to break, and handles metal, all that stuff. But as far as the base, which likes to warp on these, it doesn't seem to be a problem on some other machines. But God, do I love using these machines, because it's very reasonable in terms of noise. And this thing, yeah, sure, it's not the lightest machine in the world to pick up and carry. It's definitely heavier than Abyssal and a lot of other machines. But the handling weight, again, in a similar vein to a lot of Dysons, but even more so because of the more streamlined, bag design. This thing weighs nothing in the hand. It's got that perfect, like, pivot joint where you've got barely any handle weight. You've got just a couple pounds of handle weight. When you're pushing and pulling, this thing is just effortless, even on the extra low setting and on this relatively, thick carpet. So I definitely approve. So this machine will definitely get some more videos in the future, and hopefully you enjoyed this one where I fix it up a little bit. For some reason, a little brush fell off of that. I'm sure that's supposed to slide on. I think it slides on like that, maybe. There we go, close enough. But yeah, so there's that. I don't know, I might actually use this machine for a little bit, but if I do, I'm going to put a headlight in it, clean it up, and replace that bag with a much tighter fitting HEPA bag, which I might have some, actually, funnily enough. But that'll be another video. Anyways, Intellitech Studios signing out. Have a good one. Peace.